I discovered my wife, 28F, of 7 years, is cheating on me, 30M. She doesn't know that I know. Advice. I don't know where to begin, but I guess there's no easy way to say this. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. I'm 30 years old. I work from home as a software developer. My wife, Emily, is 28. She's very beautiful. She's a hair and makeup artist. She's incredibly talented at what she does. She mostly works with brides and bridal parties, but over the last couple of years, her career has really taken off. A lot of that success is thanks to John, who owns a really popular local wedding venue. John has been a huge connection for her. Through him, she's gotten work with photographers, local advertising agencies, and even a few small modeling gigs. She's even modeled in some local ads herself. John's in his 40s, married with 3 kids, and his wife is very pretty for a mom of 3. I guess I get it, though. My wife is younger and way better looking. Our marriage has been great as far as I know. Emily and I have been together since high school. We're still best friends. We have regular date nights, an active and exciting sex life, and she's always been thoughtful and caring. I never doubted her love for me. That's why this blindsided me. A week ago, I was working from home, and I heard an email notification from my wife's laptop, which was plugged in for charging. She had logged into it before going to the gym, and she doesn't like her computer locking automatically when she leaves it alone. She forgot to lock it before leaving it. I saw the email preview notification from John, and it looked fishy, so I opened it. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't even sexual. It was logistical, a time, a place, and some comment about keeping things discreet. But it was the last line that floored me. "You're incredible. I can't stop thinking about last night." I thought about last night. She came home late, said she'd had a long shoot with a photographer, and we had dinner together like everything was fine. Normal. I scrolled back through her messages and emails. Most of it was mundane, work-related, professional, but sprinkled throughout were little hints, things that didn't sit right. John saying she looked beyond stunning at an event. Emily thanking him but keeping it neutral. Nothing about love. Nothing about feelings. But it was clear something was happening. Then I read an email about booking a hotel for them both in town. Said it was the usual place. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. I started panicking about it and went online, looking for information about cheating. I read about the red flags and thought about the ones she showed. Emily's work schedule had gotten a bit more unpredictable over the last few months. She'd started dressing up more, new outfits, sexy underwear, even on days when she said she was just running errands. She was grooming more down there, but I thought she was doing it for me. There were nights when she came home later than usual, blaming long shoots or last-minute bridal emergencies. But she never seemed distant. She never pulled away from me. If anything, she was more attentive, initiating sex more often, planning surprise date nights, and constantly telling me how much she loved me. That's the part that stings the most. I didn't feel like I was losing her. I felt like we were closer than ever. I started paying closer attention. Later, I was snooping around the house on the pretext of cleaning, and I found a small jewelry box tucked into one of her makeup drawers. Inside was a necklace, simple but expensive looking. I hadn't bought it for her. When I asked about it casually later, she said it was a gift from a client. I didn't question it at the time. It seemed plausible. She works with high-end brides all the time, and clients giving her gifts isn't unheard of. But now, I couldn't get the image of that necklace out of my mind. I also started noticing other things. The new clothes and underwear, the grooming, little shifts in her behavior that seemed harmless on the surface but now felt suspicious. I've been copying the messages to my computer and torturing myself by going over and over them. It goes back about a year, which is when her hair and makeup business started booming. Here's the thing. I don't think Emily loves John. I've read through the messages, and while he's clearly infatuated with her, she keeps him at arm's length emotionally. There's no "I miss you" or "I love you." Just logistics, compliments, and occasional thanks. One time she even wrote, "Haha, go tell that to your wife." But it doesn't matter. She's sleeping with him. She's lying to me, and I don't know how to process that. I haven't confronted her yet. I don't even know how to start that conversation. I keep telling myself I need more proof, but maybe I'm just delaying the inevitable. All I know is that the woman I thought I knew, the woman I married, seems to be fucking another guy. If I confront her, she's going to deny it either way, right? I know I should probably just sit down and talk with her, but then that would clue her in, right? I Googled it and we live in an at-fault state. We don't have kids. So if I divorce and I have proof of her cheating, she won't get any spousal support. Also, couldn't she just make up terrible shit that I did to her in order to control the narrative with our families? I mean, I don't think she'd do that, but I didn't think she'd cheat on me either. It's late and I'm drunk. I'll check out what Reddit has to say about it, but I just want to go pass out and hear any recommendations from people who have been through this. I mean, it doesn't seem like she loves him, but does that even matter at this point if she's cheating on me? I discovered my wife, 28F, of 7 years, is cheating on me, 30M. She doesn't know that I know. Update. Suspicion. Original post. When I originally posted, it got buried and ignored due to karma limits. Here's an update. TLDR. On Christmas, Emily got an anonymous gift from John. Pissed her off. On New Year's she left, promising to come back in time for the countdown and kiss, but didn't and was very late and ugly cried way too much about it. I ordered a bunch of spy stuff off of the internet to do my own investigation. Update. Since my first post, I did a lot of reading on Reddit and other forums about how to spot and catch cheaters. Her phone is password protected and I don't know the password. She's also pretty good about locking her computer, and it was just a fluke that I was able to catch it before. So I knew I needed to get evidence. The following is not my idea. This is all advice I got by obsessively reading Reddit stories and comments, as well as other forums. I ordered some cameras off of the internet that look like smoke detectors. I convinced Emily that our home insurance would go down if I put smoke detectors in every room. I ordered a book off of the same site called How to Be a Great Husband. Discover the secrets to a happy marriage without changing your wife, and I left it around for her to see. She did, and I could tell it made her uncomfortable. I got a GPS tracker and a voice-activated recorder, VAR, along with some strong Velcro for putting it under her driver's seat. Unfortunately, you have to subscribe to a service to use the tracker, but I figure I won't be subscribed to it very long. Now, this has all been happening from when I first became suspicious until now. Just a couple of days ago, January 20th, is when I finally got everything set up. When I got the VAR, I tested it by hiding it in the table centerpiece, and I sat Emily down and asked her questions. Honey, I am doing a personal inventory to try to be a better husband and partner. To that end, I wanted to ask you some serious questions, and I want some serious answers. Do you feel I have ever abused you in our marriage? Do you feel I've ever cheated on you in our marriage? Is there anything you feel I could do to improve myself as a husband? Again, I ripped this off of a comment I read on a cheating story on Reddit. I didn't come up with this. To the first question, she said no, of course not. To the second, she seemed reluctant but answered no. To the third one, she said she wished we made love more. We've fallen off quite a lot since I got suspicious for obvious reasons, but I tried to initiate a couple of times just to keep her complacent. My heart's not in it when we do it, and I think she can tell. I asked these questions so that she couldn't make up stuff about me abusing her or cheating on her later on. I don't think she would make up lies about me, but I didn't think she'd cheat on me either, so I don't know the woman anymore. The VR got it all. I transferred the recording to the cloud. I put electrical tape over the display of the VR so there wouldn't be a glow under her seat at night, and I plugged some cheap wired earbuds into the jack on the VAR and then snipped it off at the plug so that the VAR wouldn't make any noise. Again, I got all of this info off of reading subreddits and forums. I didn't come up with this. Rolling back the clock to Christmas. On Christmas, we spent Eve and Day with her family. It was their turn. Her sister was there with her husband and kid as well as her parents. We were at her parents' house. It was just an hour away. My parents live a couple of states over. Christmas Eve Day, she got a gift bag delivered to her. I didn't see who dropped it off. My MAL said it was some teenager. The gift bag said, "To Emily from Santa." At first she thought it was for me, I think. I assured her it wasn't. It was a gold bracelet. Apparently it was pretty nice. Her mom and sister oohed and awed over it. When asked where it came from, she said it probably came from a bridal party that was getting married on the 28th who wanted to reward her for giving a group discount and doing it last minute. She told us that they said she should expect a bonus. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but I nodded my head. MIL and FIL sort of followed my lead like it was no big deal. Let me be clear that I knew it was from John. The bridal party would have signed their names. Not wrote, from Santa. Emily must think I'm special needs to fall for that. I just got angry in the moment that she had that little respect for me, so I excused myself to the restroom. Later on I saw her in the backyard on her phone. She seemed angry and was gesturing wildly. I figure she was reading John the riot act for almost exposing their affair. New Year's. She had the wedding on the 28th and was working with another bride for a wedding on the 4th. Whenever her phone would go off, I'd wonder if it was him. On New Year's Eve during the day, she got more buzzes and dings on her phone than normal. She would look at them annoyed. I asked her what the problem is, and she said the bride getting married on the 4th is a real bridezilla. That night she said she had to step out to go meet with Bridezilla. She told me she'd be back in time to kiss me at the countdown. She came back at around 1:30 a.m. She was crying, sobbing actually, going straight to the bathroom and coming out 10 minutes later. I told her to calm down and asked her what the problem was. She said she was so sorry. I asked why she was sorry. She said because I missed the NYE countdown. I told her she was entirely too upset for it to be just that, but she assured me it was. She even held my face between her hands and stared at me and told me she loved me. I asked her if she had anything else to tell me. She assured me that she didn't. I asked her point blank then if she cheated on me. She swore up and down that she didn't and that she was upset because she missed the countdown because since we have been married we always kissed each other when the clock struck midnight. I gave her every opportunity to come clean and she still lied to me. Since then, I got the cameras and the other stuff and installed it all. Now I'm going to wait to get more tangible evidence as well as start consulting divorce attorneys. I expect it will be a while before I update again. I'll be hanging out on Reddit, though. This place is addicting. Edit, trying to head off comments. Getting real, undeniable proof is important because my family loves Emily. They think of her like a daughter. In her family, she's the golden child, who can do no wrong. If she told them I was abusive or a cheater, her family would believe her. My family would probably take my side, but they'd definitely interrogate me to make sure I didn't abuse her. I discovered my wife, 28F, of 7 years, is cheating on me, 30M. She doesn't know that I know. Update 2. Last update. Personal note. I didn't think this would blow up like it has after the original post was buried and overlooked. Thank you for all your advice and for the personal stories and experiences you have private messaged me. I'm sorry I haven't been able to respond to you all. Let me say that I'm not really interested in joining any cause. All you need to do is have a cursory look at the relationship subs and you'll see there are just as many women heartbroken by infidelity as men, maybe more even. It's not a sexist issue. It's an issue of low character and morality. Having low character and morality has nothing to do with your gonads. I have had both heartbroken men and heartbroken women PM me their stories, and I see very clearly that this issue is not delineated by sex. If you don't believe this is real, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Please block me and ignore me if it's a bother. On to the update. TLDR. I got info from the VAR. She's definitely cheating. I'm angry and heartbroken. I already have a lawyer. I've been looking at lawyers since before Christmas. Like a lot of you said, I'm going to have to get a PI for good evidence for an at-fault divorce. My dad is taking our helic on his home to help pay for it. I checked the VAR recordings from Emily's car and I got some info. There was the usual business and personal calls, and some Taylor Swift sing-alongs. The first call of note was with John. Apparently she had not talked to him since NYE. She was angry with him for sending the gift at Christmas and keeping her late at NYE. John was dismissive and cocky at first. Emily then told him about how I asked her if she was cheating on me during NYE. That got John's attention and he was asking all kinds of questions. He seemed really interested if I had mentioned him by name at all. I didn't. He said he thought she was handling me. He told her that they should be safe if she has always used the card. She said she did. He asked her if she wanted to meet and she started crying. She told him that the relationship has stopped being fun for her and that they should stop and she wasn't going to lose her marriage over this. Too late, honey. He told her that she should just keep lying to me. He seemed really worried about his wife finding out. OH? She will. Asshole. He told her not to call him again on his phone and that they'll talk the next time they meet. He also told her to be sure and delete everything off her phone and computer. She said she already had. Her next call was to her BFF, Bev. Bev knows about the affair and my wife was crying. Emily told Bev about NYE and that she thinks I suspect something, and Bev told her to keep lying to me, but also told her she should probably end her affair because I would definitely divorce her if I find out or if she confesses. Ding ding ding. Bev knows me so well. Emily said she is in the process of ending her affair with John. I always considered Bev a mutual friend. I've met her husband. We've been out on couples dates. He's going to get a message from me outlining his wife's liberal views on infidelity as well as a link to the recording of her phone call. I'll check with my lawyer first. Interested in both men and women's views on this. How would you feel if you knew your spouse was actively encouraging their friend to hide their infidelity and talking about how it is with their cheating friend? Should I be pissed at her? I did some web searching and anonymous asking around on social media and, on the advice of stuff I got here on Reddit, met with what I think are the 3 best family law attorneys in my area. I had official consultations with them. I did this so that 2 of them wouldn't be able to take my wife's case because of conflict of interest. What they didn't tell me in those Reddit comments/posts is that the really good family law attorneys don't do free consultations. They charge you for them and then some pro-rate that charge towards your bill if you select them to represent you. So I ended up spending $1,600 for all that. Just FYI. I'm not super rich. We have a lot of money saved up, but I don't want to tip her off by touching that. My wife's business is doing really well, but she has the what's mine is mine and what's yours is ours attitude when it comes to paychecks, and I didn't mind until now. I make 6 figures as a senior developer and we don't have a mortgage or rent payment. When my mom died, my dad moved down to Florida to the Villages. He lets us stay in his house rent-free. It's already paid for. I say this because my dad is taking out a HELOC on the home to help me pay for the divorce attorney. A really good divorce attorney is very expensive, I've learned. The plan is to refinance it in my name after the divorce is over. Meanwhile, I'll be making the payments by writing checks to my dad. The HELOC is still pending, so I'm paying with a credit card I took out for this occasion. I'm pretty much certain my credit score will be shot to hell after this. I talked to my divorce attorney and gave her the recordings, and she said it was good evidence. I told her about how Emily is ending it with John and about the card John mentioned. She told me to take a picture of the card if I can find it and send it to her. I asked her if it was legal to do that, and she said yes because it's accessible within shared marital property. She's going to subpoena the card statements. As far as Emily ending it with John goes, my lawyer said maybe, but don't count on it. My attorney also told me the same thing y'all told me, and that's I need to hire a PI. She told me she had a good one. I told her I already had all this evidence, and she said that evidence and testimony from a PI carry more weight with the court because a PI knows how to get admissible evidence legally and is impartial. She told me her goal is to get enough evidence so that any attorney my wife got would settle rather than go to trial because she'd subpoena John and John would be exposed too. She told me she wouldn't be surprised if John paid for my wife's attorney, which would be a dumb idea for her because that attorney would mainly have John's best interests in mind. But since he's paying for everything else, she'd probably go for it. I'll be meeting with the PI on Monday. Meanwhile, Emily is love-bombing me. She's telling me how great I am and how much she appreciates me and how lucky she is. She's talking about starting a family before she's 30. Not with me. You're not. She wants us to go on a long romantic trip that she's planning on paying for with her money. With John's card, probably. I want to scream at her and tell her I'd rather slam my dick in a car door, but I have to keep playing nice. For now. Fuck this shit, man. I can't believe this is my goddamn life now. I want to hug her and kiss her and make love with her again, but then I remember her mouth was around that asshole's junk. He completed in her mouth and she came home and kissed me with it. I had sloppy seconds for 9 months. But she loves me. I love her and I hate her. I'm walking cognitive dissonance. My attorney told me to get into counseling. I will. I think I need to. I just want to run away from her and towards her at the same time. Does that sound stupid? Am I going crazy? I discovered my wife, 28F, of 7 years, is cheating on me, 30M. She doesn't know that I know. Update 3. Struggling. Last update. I got an STI test a couple weeks ago. It's negative, but my doctor gave me the HPV vaccine because it wouldn't be detected by the tests. He said if I've been exposed, it could take years to show up. So he told me to check my dick for warts for the next several years. So good news, I have a new hobby now. It turns out that in my state you can't record someone one-sidedly unless you are involved in the conversation. So the conversations between Emily and Bev and Emily and John are illegal, and I broke the law. Since I have attorney-client privilege and she's the only one I sent them to, I'm good. But I have to delete them. The emails I downloaded are still evidence, though, so we have good evidence there. I suppose the recordings served their purpose in that I know for sure about the affair. On the advice of my attorney, I hired the PI she suggested. I gave him the info for the GPS tracker on Emily's car. He said that after hearing my story, including details I didn't share here, he decided he was going to follow John rather than my wife. It didn't make sense to me at the time, but he said that it sounded like John was more into my wife than she was with him, so John would probably be the one initiating contact rather than Emily. I figured, oh well, he's the pro, not me. He assured me that he's seen cases like mine before where the spouse was not serious but just looking for some fun on the side, and because of the withholding of attention, it causes the AP to double down on the relationship and pursue more. He said women don't like needy men and men don't like needy mistresses. Makes sense. On the sage advice of all of you and my lawyer, I stopped having sex with Emily. I told her there were layoffs coming at work and I was really anxious and not in the mood. I don't know why, but she seemed really frustrated by that. It's been difficult living with her and pretending. John and I get the same treatment. Well, I guess he got slightly better treatment for a while. But I'm the lucky one because I get to hear the sound, "I love you," bounce off of my eardrums from that hole in the middle of her face, and John doesn't. #blessed. It used to mean so much to me to hear that. I'm so goddamn angry that she's made me hate her like this. I want to love her again so badly. My therapist says the technical term is ambivalence. Thinking about it makes me want to vomit. Valentine's Day. The PI said John left flowers and a gift at my wife's salon. The PI said when Emily came to work and saw it, she threw everything in the shared dumpster in the strip mall without even looking at it. She was pissed. My PI retrieved the gifts. It was really expensive lingerie and a dozen red roses. The gift had a Valentine's Day card, the flowers had a message note too, and there was definite proof in that note and card of the affair. They were practically love letters. Emily left the other girls at the salon and went to meet up with John. PI got it all. They met in a far corner of a hotel parking lot. The whole thing took around 45 minutes. It was an intense conversation. The PI said Emily seemed angry and shook her head no a lot. He said he thought John was trying to coax her into a room. Lots of touching. Nothing overtly sexual happened, but the PI said he's seen cases one with less and that their body language, behavior, and the way it panned out is the kind of thing judges look for in adultery cases. It was obvious that they had a relationship. It was at that time that I got a weird, "I love you" phone call from Emily. I remember her voice was off. It was like she was trying to check in on me. My attorney advised me to photos of Emily's appointment book for the last year or so. Emily likes using a physical calendar book to write everything down. I noticed there are appointments with John in the book too. Before, I would have just thought of them as business meetings because Emily said John was mentoring her in small business stuff. I found a Mont Blanc pen in her purse near the appointment book. I guess that's another gift from John because I sure as hell didn't buy it for her and she always just used BIC pens before. Emily was busy with work the rest of the day and night on Valentine's Day, as she had a bunch of ladies who wanted to get specially made up for Valentine's Day dates with their spouses/boyfriends. Anyway, she worked as usual on Valentine's Day. She came home tired, half-heartedly tried to initiate something, but I just pampered her because she seemed exhausted, and so I put her to bed. I didn't pamper her for her sake. I did it for me. I wanted to be a good husband so she'd somehow miss me more when I'm gone. I wanted to prove to myself that I'm not worth cheating on. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm love-bombing her in return in my own way. Is this the pick-me dance? Because I don't want her to pick me. I can't decide if I'm doing it so that it hurts her more when I'm gone, or because I know I'll miss moments like these when I leave her for the last time. The good news in this zombie shitshow that my marriage has become is that the parking lot meeting and the Valentine's Day gifts were enough that, when added to the other evidence, we can finally have Emily served. We're going to have it done privately with the PI. He's also a process server and can get it done quickly. It was probably a mistake accusing her of cheating on NYE. Emily knows that something's wrong. She's staring at me a lot. I can see it in my peripheral vision. It would be creepy if it weren't so pitiful. She keeps asking for some kind of reassurance that we're doing good, since we're not making love anymore. I keep lying to her, but I guess I'm not the great Shakespearean actor I thought I was. I just can't get over this betrayal. I wish I could, but I can't, and I never ever will. It doesn't matter that she didn't love the guy. She had his junk in her and had her mouth on it and came home and kissed me with that mouth. For 9 months. I just hate myself for going back to her. I'd further hate myself for treating her badly because of jealousy and resentment. No one deserves being treated like a convicted felon for the rest of their lives by their spouse. Would any reasonable person want to live like that? Would that be enough for anyone? Should I be resigned to a life of policing Emily and keeping her under lock and key until she resents and hates me later on and probably cheats on me again? Either that or I'll be an emotionally dead zombie who says, "Yes, dear," while stamping down my emotions and anxiety every time she walks out the front door. Who would love someone like that? I'm not going to live like that. I love who I thought she was too much to let her live like that. That's why I'm going to ghost Emily when she gets served. The plan is to have her publicly served, to start the process of having John's credit card statement subpoenaed. Lawyer says it could take months for this to pan out. Tell Bev's husband about her complicity in Emily's affair, and to email/text Emily's dad and sister, John's wife, and some mutual friends with the news. I'll pack and leave before she regains her footing after being served with divorce papers. I plan on leaving a short note, my lawyer's business card, and my wedding ring. My lawyer told me to leave a note so she doesn't have an excuse to start making trouble. I was thinking about writing, "Do you like rich sugar daddies?"
Yes,
My therapist says I use humor as a coping mechanism. I know I won't do that, though. I'll either write this long manifesto or something super short. Another infidelity poster on here wrote to her cheating, so I know. Bye. Brevity is the soul of wit. I know myself. I know that Emily at least thinks she loves me, whatever that is. I know she'll beg and plead and cry and appeal to me in every possible way. Our history, our families, our plans, everything. She'll dress up and make herself look stunning. She'll pull out all of the stops and I'll cave. I'm not ghosting her because I'm strong. I'm ghosting her because I'm weak. I used to think it would hurt worse if she had actually fallen in love with him. But now, that would have been easier. If she didn't want me, at least I'd have my answer. Instead, she wants me. But she's already broken us beyond repair. That's worse. I'll update after it all goes down. Should only be a few days.